We are live. Let's do it. All right. Good morning. It's almost bell time in like 10 seconds. So let's get cracking. All right. So I got some upgrades to this system. I had some incredible epiphanies this past last night. Um, what we've seen, here we go, red open. I've been studying more and more of, especially with Russell, it loves to pump. Russell likes to just freaking move. And originally, I was always attracted around, especially these opening moves. And and at first I was trying to capture these pumps, right? And honestly, okay, so I started 7 years ago, literally 7 years ago. This is my anniversary of trading futures. I started trading stocks and options before that, but for futures, this month is my anniversary, 7 years of working with futures and Ninja Trader too. Excuse me. Um, well, it looks like we got a big oversold here. Um, so let's see if it just keeps pounding down. And if this thing pushes hard, yeah. So originally, a lot of the systems I was looking at was trying to capture this. But you saw how it was wiggly around here, and you don't know which way it's going to go, and it can knock around a lot. And ultimately, it just becomes this really sketchy ass trade. And and uh, and I always wanted to try and figure out how to capture that. But I remember seeing some traders on YouTube that they started by trying to do that, and then they changed to they would scan for pumps and then ride the dump and make more money on it. Was a lot easier to profit on the dump than it was on the pump, because the pump, you don't know which way it's going to go, or it's really reckless and wild, and you could get knocked out and knocked around easy, right? And so this thing is pumping pretty hard right now. This is a pretty strong pump already, over 4 or 5 points. And so now and I'd always been at first working with trying to capture this explosion out, but I realized how difficult it is. So then and I loved working with relative strength index because it was a nice indicator to kind of find out when things are oversold or bought. It's a very classic one. I've just always been drawn to it as an oscillator. All the other oscillators haven't really been super into. Um, but for some reason, relative strength index is one I've used and come back to, and wanted to find some sort of purpose for it. And holy sh! This might be so fast we might not even get into this one. Yeah, it looks like it just cleared that way too fast. Yeah, we got a pump down, and then yeah, we didn't even get any entry for that, because what we're looking for is for it to totally clear this, and then it's got to come up and touch this. But it looks like by the time it's touched this, it's already back at open. So yeah, this was too quick of a pump. Um, so we won't take this one. And it's kind of going back and forth. yeah, I was looking at historically and I saw that a lot of times there would be mornings, right, where it just starts driving hard in one direction and then it kind of loses steam at some point and then it starts to cross back over the oversold or the overbought line, and then that turns into a incredible buying or selling opportunity, which usually ends up being like the low or the high of the day a lot of times, which is pretty interesting because if you can get in at the low or the high of the day after it's kind of hyperextended itself, so it becomes a very low risk, very high reward setup. And that's why I'm so excited about it, because it's weird. I never thought of fading pumps like that, right? And yeah, see here, we had it push super hard. It did clear, but then it just shot right back up. And so when you see mixed motion right here, right, like that, then that actually is more sustainable, right? If this thing kept push at some crazy unsustainable rate, and then it bottoms out and then goes up, that's a different story. But this is just it wiggling hard back and forth. So this just shows actually more contested or congested energy. So I would look at this more as rangy behavior, right? So you want to look at what's going on in the first 10, 15 minutes of the day, or even 30 up to 30 minutes, right? And see if you see a clean, just like strong push down, totally clears this, but it's got to be a strong push down and bottom out and to um, start to come back. But when it comes back, here it already just came back. It just immediately went back to open. So that kind of negates. That doesn't show this as being like overly extended. That just shows this as being a very volatile morning that's swinging up, back, and forth, right? So you got to use your kind of wisdom or intuition to kind of feel, is this a pump, right? Or is this just swingy behavior, or is this more sustainable and end up being more of a trend? So you have to identify these initial first moves, right? And see what you're working with. So a super strong unsustainable move would be more of a pump. Something that's a bit more sustainable, this could be the beginning of a trend. It could be the start of like a V day where it trends first in one way and then the other way. It could be, yeah, like a touch in reverse where it's coming down for a little bit. Not like a pump, but it's just working its way down, and then it reverses and just spends the rest of the day in the other direction. That's almost like a check mark day. And then there's the V day where it's a little bit more even trends, right? And then there's the pump days where it shoots on hard early and then just blasts off the other direction. Or it could turn into a range. It could pump and then range, and then it can transform into other things. It could pump and then range and then turn into a V day. Like that's the interesting thing about the market in a day is it can go through like 2 or 3 days in like one. Um, and or it could, if it's sustainable, it can just this thing could keep just trending, right? And because this thing is in our charts, we've already got this thing moving down, so uh, we would really be hoping for this thing to reverse and just blast upwards. But we had a lot of overnight downhill down movements, And we did have a lot of overnight movement. From midnight, if you look from the London Open, which is midnight on Mountain Time, we had this huge rundown, right? You can see that here. Here's midnight, literally, just boom. And when you see that, you know, we could set up for um, a move down, but in order to do that, we've got to look for a good pullback. Actually, it would have been good getting in probably with this 100 and something like that, or maybe something like that. So the other system that I thought of is if there's a clear path down or up, if there's a clear trend from the London Open all the way to the Open, you can look for pullbacks leading into the Open here, like here, and or here. Well, I guess if it's down there, then you'd be maybe working with something like that to get in here. And then continue the ride down. Because right now I have my system covers, if there's a pump and dump, or if there's like any kind of movement, and if this bar closes up, then that covers a lot of different things. Like if it comes up and starts a trend, or comes up and makes a V, we can capture the V, or a touch and go pump, or even if it ranges around and then breaks out, anything like that. But if this thing keeps pushing down, if this thing has been trending down, if this thing opens and it just keeps going in the direction, if it eventually reverses, we can handle all those, right? But if it just decides to keep trending, that's like the one day that our system doesn't handle right now. And I had something in there before, but I pulled it off. And so the thing is if we're at midnight and London Open, right? And if we get a trending move, either trend up, or trend down, you're looking to take a trade in that continuation of the trend. And that happens a lot, actually. If there's a strong move overnight, a lot of times it will continue to follow through with that. And that could end up being a continued trend in that direction for the day. Very possible. What? Oh. Whoops. Okay, there we go. I don't know how that happened. The other thing is that's why I'm wondering. I'm like, should I add that into my system again? I don't particularly enjoy taking trades from open unless there's like something happens after open to signify that. Like if there's a pump, we would fade it, or if there's a strong move, if there was a strong move up and it closed the bar up, then I'd be looking to take trades up, right? But yeah, that's just something that's been on my table of debate, and I'm just stoked to have finally come up with a way to capitalize on, if there's a strong move in one direction. I was like, gosh, like I kept feeling like there's got to be I really want to capitalize on that, but trying to capture that just never felt right. So once I don't know why I never thought of that before, but finally once it dawned on me like, oh, I could fade it. That's right. Then it all became a lot more clear. Well, we'll just wait and see if we get a reversal and it starts to push higher. See where we're at. Yeah, so this has been steadily moving down, and then we got that big move down, and then we had this kind of not too strong of a push up. So this is a strong move down, big move down, weak pullback. So that shows, and then we've got this move down. So yeah, that just continues to show the strength of selling in the market. Definitely not good for my stock portfolios, but it's actually just putting them more in value. So it's all good. Just get it better prices. Looks like, oh, I see. I don't really use these lines. I guess they're important. Like we can keep one here and here. Interestingly, yeah, we've got a bit of a low point here. Make this one a different color. Maybe you like it. Medium slate blue. Yep, it's coming down. Yeah, so yeah, that's the system. What we could have also done is gotten in here. Yeah, because this could suddenly just continue a trend down. So you can see, yeah, so that's an overnight. This yesterday was mixed. Well, actually, that's the open. But you saw a bit of a trend. But this was a lot of points. Yeah, I don't know. I just haven't really nailed down exactly how I want to treat it. If I want a certain range from the London Open. Because this was moving up from the London Open, but it wasn't too much range. There was a lot of back and forth. This one was pretty mixed. This one was, yeah, just wasn't really too much activity. This one had some movement right here. And that ended up being a decent move down. Which is about 40, about 20-ish points from there. I think the number I was looking at was 15 points. If the overnight range, yeah, this is only like 73, 3, like 10 points. It had to move down, but we would skip that. And these are pretty tight ranges. Only like 10 points or so. But this was a lot. This was 54. Let's see here. 20 points. This was over 20 points. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you have 15 or more points, you can capture a push. Yeah. I think that might be what I'll do. I think this is all. Yeah, a lot of times it's around 10 points of range. Here, this one is an example. It's from like 84, 3, 4. Oh wait, never mind. That was not an example. I'm trying to find another one. They don't happen too often. That's the thing. Nope. Nope. I swear there was another one. Dang. This one? 10. It's not quite 15. Like 14 points. Five, 3, 13. Yeah, mostly. Gosh, it's gotta be one in here. Here we go. Here's a big move down. And because it doesn't happen too often, that kind of solidifies that it's how good it is. Yeah, here's a big move down here. This came down to this is 88. We're up here 10, 20. Here's 30, 29, 28 points. Whew. And then it ended up being a nice move throughout the day. Yeah, it started here and just worked its way down. So yeah, I think that is the one element that I need. I took it out, and sure enough, as soon as I take it out, we get one of those days. I think that's just interesting how each day shows you exactly what you need to do for your system. Yeah. So the way Can anyone do some math? Oh man. Okay, so 82 to 52, that's 20 points. 20. I can add now. Plus 3-ish, it's like over 23 points. So if you've got a significant amount of points, right? I would say with Russell maybe 15. If it's like 15 or more points, then yeah, that thing is cruising from the London, and it's on a mission, and so you want to continue that mission, right? Like, look how much it's moved. Um, so if we got in kind of early on this guy, then we would have gotten around, let's say, 84. It's gone down 10 points. Closing on 10, almost 15 points here, right? Over 10 points. Yeah, that's a solid one. And what you could do is get in early with one contract just to scout it out. Make sure your stop isn't a good, because if you're gonna do this opening one, this one's sketchier because open gets wiggly, right? So you got to have a looser stop back here and get in a solid place. And then if you're going for one it's going to be a bit more solid, but you won't get as much profit. Like something like this, like one of the pullbacks here, and then you could add in here or choose this as an entry there. Yeah. We got a big push that overextended itself. This could be the start of when you see a big push like that and there's follow through like that, that means this thing is gonna fucking start going, right? So we'll probably get a turn on the bar here. So we can start looking for potentially some trades. think this thing could close soon. Cool. I just opened an account with Webull. And they give you a free stock when you join, and then you get another one when you deposit $100. So I just sent over $100, and let's see, free stock. Let's see what I got. Congratulations, you get a chance to draw a free stock. Okay. Get. What did I get? I got BIOS. Three estimated value $3.27. Yay, I got $3. Cool. $3. What else? Here. Okay. Well, I put in the deposit. We'll see what I get. Interesting. So they'll give you a stock between eight, worth $8 to $1,000. Cool. All right, looks like we could get a close here pretty soon. Yeah, when you have two contracts on, let's say were to enter in on this early one and it works out, and then we set up here and I get in a second contract here, and then we see something like this oversold signal here, and then clears it, we could pull one contract off just to score that, and then keep this one on if this keeps, you know, cruising down. And then if it closes the other way, then we can close out of that trade, start looking for longs. I'm going to add this to my Spirit Rider, Spirit Trade. If market moves 15 plus points in one direction from London Open to US Open, look for an entry enter at 1/3 pullback depth. One-third pullback depth. Where entry does not overlap any candles. Make sure I'm not. I would say enter within the first 30 minutes of the day. Yeah, and then enter in it with same rules as above. Enter within first 30 minutes. Cool. And then this one, This would be before 10. Well, yeah, before 10. This would be first 30. Beginning of the day, pumpkin cleanse, Friede. Then stop 1 tick out from extreme. Right, because this could set up for a move up, or this thing could just pull back and continue down. So you want to stay in this thing until you know for sure we're getting a move up. And we haven't gotten any closes up, so you want to just continue to stay in the trade. But it's a good idea to bank profit here. The pumps happen first 15 minutes of the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this would be like, call this one like catching the London train or something. Go over the name for this one. It's so simple. Right, you don't really need too many indicators. And I have a very simple way of yeah. Yeah, that can be a good profit taking mechanism is when you see a strong pump like that, that can be a good place for profit taking. And then you still got one in and you could, let's see. I think at that point you probably wouldn't want to add in from that point because you don't know if it's actually going to turn. If it turns, okay. If it continues, it continues, but you don't know. So that one would bank, I don't know, 8 points, 7, 8 points. Here we go. Get some action. Oh boy. Need to make some avocado toast and tea. One of the greatest inventions. Oh, is it 8? Okay. Well, it's 8:30. Looks like we're not getting too much action. So I will close this up. Pretty cool though. Yesterday I had an amazing revelation with the pumps and stuff, fading pumps. And this relative strength index is nice. It's a good pump indicator. Um, and what, yeah, I definitely feel like I'll be adding in that element. That kind of fills in the last piece or the last bit into my system. Like, for example, yesterday, right, we had a big drive down. It was moving up and then it had a big drive down. And I saw this and I was like, okay, so the system says to get in now. And it pulled back and I got in. And then, of course, I was like, yeah, feels overextended and I'll probably get out of this. And so this probably won't work out. Maybe it'll pull back and try again. Right. And then it just shot off the other direction. And then at first I was thinking like maybe I should allow myself to take both sides. And so at first it was that, okay, all right. But that still didn't feel fully right. And then I started looking at this more and then I was thinking of how pumps work and I was thinking about how there's these moves early on that's been consistent where it just drives hard and then that ends up exhausting and then it moves the other way. Like last Tuesday, there was that epic move down, but in the beginning, it's easy to forget that in the beginning of that move, if I can pull this, see if it'll let me. I don't know. But in the beginning of the move, it just shot up super hard. And that it shot up really hard. I don't know, maybe like 10, 15 points or something like that. It was a bunch. And it cleared this RSI like a lot. And then once it started to touch back down into the RSI, that was pretty much near the top. And so if you got in when it started to cross back into the green and put your stop behind the extreme, you got in almost near the top of the fucking day. And then you would ride that whole thing down for like, from my original entry point, I was projected to have 40 points, but from up there, it would have been more like over 50. That would have been a massive fucking move. Yeah, so that's what I realized. I'm like, yes, there are days where it just trends out the gate and shoots, and that's the trend. This could be one of them. Today could be one of them. But there's also a lot of days where it pumps and then reverses, and then it does a trend in the other direction for the rest of the day. And so I realized that's why I was so excited because I've been seeing this so much and now seeing how I could easily capture it and get in near the low or the high of the day and capture that full move. Oh my God, that's like a dream come true. That's the thing I've been literally wanting to figure out for so long. And now I've got a way to do it. So I'm stoked. And, yeah, I'm going to be creating a course on some really awesome things that you don't normally see in a trading course. It's going to be a lot more meta and focus on some really core foundational elements to trading that were key for me in this process to success, and I know will be key for other people too. Even if there will be something in there for somebody, right? Absolutely. And really powerful. I won't be prescribing like these. Yeah, cool. I'm making these systems. I'm not going to be prescribing in that. I'm not going to be prescribing any kind of systems. I'm just purely going to tell you how to learn about yourself and remember who you are and connect and understand the trading universe and how to navigate your way through that trading universe in a way that's functional and works and that you connect with something you fucking love to do and you get stoked to trade your system, and then anything that's in the way or anything that needs to be healed, right? Healing relationships with money or aspects of trading or any other elements of your life, and then honing in and creating that dedicated practice, that ritual, right? And then which leads into these concepts of mastery and flow and stewarding the flow and um, energy and money and how these all flow and move, right? Understanding these concepts and how to move and work with these concepts and value. And that ultimately leads into the last realm, which is actualization, right? Talking about what is trading, what is beyond trading, what does this trading serve? Like you've developed so much within the trading universe, and now what does that mean for you beyond trading? How like a certain lifestyle or helping people or how you can achieve more of your potential that you are interested in, right? Yeah, I love that word actualization because it talks about human reaching all of their potential. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of back and forth. This could double bottom out. I don't know. There could be all sorts of things that go on today. But it's possible we could just get a nice move down, maybe some sideways action, maybe a break to the top side. Who freaking knows? Yeah. So let's see. We are coming close to an area right here. But yeah. Happy trading, and I'll see you tomorrow.